Hey everyone, it's Jill Wright from nailtechevent.com. I'm out here on my porch. As you can hear, the dog next door is going off. But I just wanted to reach out to y'all and hope y'all are doing really good today and that you're hanging in there. It looks like it might be heading down the home stretch, and we can just pray and keep our fingers crossed that that is true, that it is coming, almost coming to an end. I don't know if you saw this morning, it was so freaking cool. Like yesterday, I saw on the news, like I was scrolling through Facebook, and there was this article, and it was about a barbershop in Birmingham, Alabama called The Mail Room, which I thought was so stinking cool. And so they had put out on their Facebook page this long post about how they were opening up today. Like they did this yesterday, and they said they were opening up today, and they didn't give a rip what the Alabama governor said, that this was ruining their livelihoods. Their families were crashing and burning in flames, their business going down the tubes. They had no money because, as you know, a lot of people, self-employed people, can't get on unemployment yet because the antiquated systems to file for unemployment have not been updated by each state. So every state is different. And apparently Alabama is, it's not working out too well for people. And they've been without money for weeks and weeks on end. And so this, the owner of the barber shop, The Mail Room in Birmingham, Alabama, had put out on his Facebook page a long announcement saying that regardless of what the ban was, they were opening up today. And I just couldn't even wait to see what was going to transpire. I mean, I was so ready to be activist, get in my car, drive 4 hours down to Birmingham and see, what was going to go on and, help them picket and march and storm the city, that sort of thing. And anyway, this morning I get up and I log in there to see, and it was so funny. They made an announcement because it drew all kinds of press. And they knew it was going to draw all kinds of press. If you went to their nail page, or their their Facebook page for their barbershop, they had, it was over 300 and some comments one time. Then I think it crept up over 1,000. People were going nuts. I mean, nuts. The news crew came, they did a story on it, and hey Dana, how you doing? Hey Gail, thanks for watching. So anyway, they drew all kinds of publicity. So I was praying for them overnight, and I'm like, oh Lord, please don't let them get arrested. Don't let them be taken off to jail or get fined or whatever. So I get up this morning and I'm super excited, and I log in, and they decided not to. They called it off and held a press conference, which I thought was so stinking amazing because they drew all kinds of publicity to the plight of the beauty industry without having to break the law. And I thought, what a great idea. And I know they had to have planned that from the beginning. So anyway, those of you who are upset with the way things are going, you're done, you're sick of it, you need to get back to work, you want to get back to work, what you have to do, hey Jasmine, how you doing? Thanks for watching. What you guys have to do is you have to Google search who your representative is for your city and email them, call them. You Google search also your governor. Hey, Dana, she said, yes, they did, and it was smart. Yeah, they did. And I thought that was just a very, very business savvy move on their part, and they've got so much PR. But anyway, you guys got to step up. You can't sit back and you can't wait for other people to do it. Contact the governor of your state. If you don't know who it is, just Google whatever state you live in and who's the governor, and it'll tell you, and it'll take you to the website. They've got contact forms. You can email them. You can actually Google how do I email President Trump, and you can email President Trump, which I have done myself. I have emailed the White House. I've emailed my governor in Kentucky twice. I've emailed my representative. I've spoken on the phone, actually called the governor's office, spoke to somebody on the phone, and hey Ellen, how you doing? Thanks for watching. And they actually care, and they take down your concerns. They write down your concerns and they pass it up the chain to the governor. And when I emailed the president, I got a return, email thanking me for, sending them an email. And don't expect to hear anything more. But they do have staff that actually divvies these up. They will put different, like whatever, people's gripes or, hey, you're doing a great job or whatever the case may be. It will go into the correct category, and there are people that will take it and address it, and they tally these things up. Hey, Danielle, how are you doing? So they tally up everybody's opinion. So if you have an opinion, if you're thinking this is going really groovy and you like to see us hunker down even longer, by all means, call your governor, email them. And if you don't like how things are going in your state, you need to step up and you need to let them know now. Hey, Miss Polished, how you doing? She's calling from Memphis, said Memphis had a meeting today about going back into the salon, but I don't think we're ready. And it's all because of non-payment of unemployment. Interesting. See, yeah, and there's a lot of people who are still struggling and they can't make ends meet. Hey, Jackie, how you doing? Thanks for watching. So they can't make ends meet. And listen, like, I'm sitting here chilling. This is my porch life. I'm going to turn this so you can see. This is my life. This is my world. This is my second office. I live in the country. I got neighbors on each side of me. But for the most part, like right behind here, that's woods. And so I am really good at social distancing, but we've been doing this since March 18th. I'm freaking sick of it all right now. I really am, to be honest. And I want it over. And that's just me personal, my opinion. And if you feel differently, it's perfectly fine. No hard feelings. Everybody's entitled to their beliefs, and everybody's life is different. Their circumstances are different. So let me just say this. I didn't intend to talk about this, but it just popped into my mind. So, oh God, I need a haircut. And so I will just, hey, Linda, how you doing? Thanks for watching. Okay, here's the deal. So, I have not been on social media a lot lately. My screen time actually sent me a notice that said your screen time's down 25%. I'm like, yeah, no duh, because everything on social media, it's just one negative post after another. And I mean, I get it. Situations suck. It sucks really bad. It's been sucking for a long time. But it's just one after another. And my personality, the way I am, I'm very upbeat. I'm very positive. I always look at the glass as half full. But after a while, the negativity starts to wear me down. And then I've got to distance myself from that. Otherwise, I'll fall into a funk and go into depression. And then I'll be thinking the world is coming to an end. Like a lot of people think it's not coming to an end. Hey, Andrea, how you doing? Thanks for watching. All you have to do, stop watching ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox News, the main news stations. They literally are all political oriented. They're slanted one way or another. So if you're trying to look, hey, Christine, my cousin, hey. She says she's so proud of me. Oh, so sweet. She's up in Pennsylvania. That's where our people are from. But anyway, if you want to try to find the actual of what is going on with the COVID virus, you need to start Google searching. Type in your questions, Google search, dig deeper. I have been doing all kinds of research, and I'm not, like, I never was interested. Hey, Brenda, how you doing? Thanks for watching. Hey, Carol. I never, growing up, like in high school or whatever, I struggled going through math, science, biology, didn't give a rip, did the best I could, because otherwise my parents would be really mad. Hey, Andrea. And so I just wasn't like all geeked out about science. But the more I started to research and dig into it, the COVID virus, what's going on, what are the latest, what are scientists, epidemiologists saying, what are, what else, medical doctors on the front lines, what are virologists, what are they saying? Hey, Andrea, you got to dig deeper. Look at other countries too. Their top doctors, they're all indicating that this is not as deadly as what we've been led to believe. All of the research I'm looking at, now don't take my word, Google search it, look it up for yourself. They're not saying people aren't dying, but they're saying they're not dying in the great numbers that we're being led to believe they're dying. And there's also other things that, they're talking about, and it goes into really deep detail about, herd immunity. And that's where enough of the population has, unbeknownst to them, already been infected with the virus, whatever virus it may be. This particular virus, too. Like in China, when they finally did the lockdown, from all the research papers I've been reading and what have you, They feel that China locked down too late. The majority of the population had already been infected, and they are now immune. They've got herd immunity, which that's why they're saying China has already opened up for business. They said, all of the different ones I've read and looked at, and like I said, go look it up yourself. They're saying that if we had not tried to flatten the curve, if we had just tried to let it ride out, in nature, they said epidemics go up and they go down. There's not these different spikes that we're seeing. The different spikes we're seeing are different ways where the medical profession has adjusted their data, how they're collecting data, which it gets really technical. And like I said, I am not a scientist, but I was totally geeked out. I mean, you should have seen the notes I was taking. I studied this all week. I've been digging so deep and what have you, just to find out what is going on. And they're all of them from Switzerland. Sweden is open. China's back open. Denmark's opening up. Norway, I believe. They're all saying the same thing, herd immunity, which I emailed the governor. I'm like, look, we've all probably been exposed. Most of us have been exposed. I got deathly sick in December, right around Christmas. We went to a movie at Christmas. I got sick the next day. I was sick for a whole month. I mean, literally, I was sick all New Year's Eve, all January. I was not headache like they're saying or anything flu feeling, but I went to the doctor late December and, hey, Carla, how you doing? And my doctor, checked me out. She's like, yeah, you got bronchitis and here's some Z-Pack and what have you. And I took it and literally I was sick the whole month. And so anyway, the scientists are saying, they're researching, and what their papers are indicating is it was in this country longer than what China is letting on. They feel it started possibly back in as late as, or as early, I should say, as last August, September, November. This is what the papers from scientists are saying from all over. So Google search it. And it could have very well been, who knows? We don't have testing. You can't test the masses. I feel perfectly fine, as you see right now, perfectly fine. They're not going to test me, and to think they're going to test the entire United States, all of us, and we're going to be locked down, it's just not feasible. And from all the scientists that have been working on, vaccines, they're talking about how they've already been working on a COVID vaccine, not this particular COVID virus, but they have been working since the 90s on a COVID vaccine, and it's extremely difficult and nobody's been able to do it yet. So it's really, hey Cindy, how you doing? So they're really saying that to put your hopes in a vaccine and to count on it being here in a year and a half, 2 years, whatever, it might happen, might not, but everywhere in the world can't lock down for an entire year. It's just not feasible. And I know for one thing, after watching the mass protests in Ohio, Michigan, North Carolina, people are going to be storming the Capitol and demanding, there's going to be rioting in the streets. And so, if you aren't happy with the way things are going, the point of this whole thing, email your governor. Email the president. Let him know. Let your voices be heard, because that's what a democracy is. It's our voices. We're the country. The officials work for us. So if we're sitting back not saying anything, they're up in Washington thinking everything's hunky-dory, and doing their own thing. Hey, Andrea says we'll have those instant tests soon to see if we already have the antibodies. That would be epic. But can anybody say how soon is soon? I really like to know, because I'd want to be tested, because I, was sick, and then my husband got sick, and then he was sick, and he had to go to the doctor, and they told him, I think it was something I don't know if he got bronchitis or whatever. They gave him a Z-Pack too, sent him on his merry way, but this was before the whole, COVID frenzy started. But the frenzy is what I thought about talking about too, was because being online, looking at social media and getting into the nail groups, I have been seeing for months now about nail techs, and they're talking about turning in other nail techs and hairstylists, and righteously and morally indignant about some people who are foolish enough to say they're going out. Hey Misty, how you doing down in Tennessee? they're saying they're going to turn them in and or have already been turning them in. And there's all these rumors flying around. Hey, Renee, there's these rumors flying around about, oh my God, this nail tech got turned in and she got fined $25,000 and her lights got taken away. And everywhere I've like piped in, I've like, where's the link to this news article? I want to see it. I want to see that this is true, because otherwise it's just a bad rumor. Hey, JoJo, how you doing? So anyway, so far nobody's been able to show me any kind of like link to anything where, hey Stephanie, where somebody has actually been fined, arrested, what have you. But the mere thought, I'm reading the comments over and over. I mean, they're so upset about this random person, not even in their state, some random person just trying to make ends meet and doing the nails. We don't know what this person's background is. We don't know their story. They could be a single mother with children to feed in a state who hasn't got their act together, and they can't file unemployment. And it's not like they can just hop off the couch and go, hey, how you doing, Leela? It's not like they could just go, file and like put in applications all over town. Most people, especially struggling nail artists and young folk, they live paycheck to paycheck. And when their money is gone, yanked out from under them, the only thing they've got are the client base they've already built up. So I don't pass judgment on anybody for doing what they have to do, because I'm not the one walking in their shoes. I'm not the one living their life, And so I was getting really bummed out of seeing all these posts of people who mean well, but the other day, last week, I saw a post, and I can't remember which nail tech it was. Not that I'd call her out publicly, I wouldn't do that. But she was really upset because the police showed up at her door, knocked on her door. Somebody had reported her for doing nails out of her home. And she said to the police, you're welcome to come on in and look around, because I'm not doing nails out of my home. And the police, she said, declined, and it could be because they're afraid to get the virus, or maybe protocol is you're not supposed to go into a citizen's house who hasn't committed a crime and you've got no evidence to back it up other than an anonymous call of somebody reporting. And I was so disturbed by this. I couldn't even imagine you could be sitting there eating dinner and somebody just turns you in. Somebody could have been like in a Facebook group that didn't even know you and might have saw, or something about, what do you call it? Venmo. If you don't have your settings private on Venmo, it's connected to your social network. Every one of your social friends can see your Venmo. So there's been, hey Chrissy, how you doing? There's been a lot of nail techs saying, and hairstylists too, hey, my clients are sending me money. They're buying gift certificates. They're sending it through Venmo. And they're putting the little nail emoji in the subject line, or, they're putting my fills or whatever it was. Well, they could be putting my fills because they're prepaying for their fills. We don't know that, but a lot of people are presuming. There's been some that have said, and I've seen it posted, that they've said, oh, well, I saw on their Venmo that said house call. Hey, Mary Ellen. Well, that's kind of stupid. I guess they didn't know you're supposed to put your Venmo on private if you don't want everybody knowing your business. I don't know how you get around if they put house call, because that pretty much seems like you're making house calls, and you probably shouldn't be if you don't want people calling the police and turning you in. So anyway, a few days ago, I log on in the morning, and there's a Facebook Live pops up from a nail tech, and Leila's saying, can see all of your transactions on Venmo. I've seen that for myself. Yeah, I did when I first logged on and I did my account, and I looked, I was like, oh shit, everybody can see everybody else's business. So I'm like, put it on private. Not that I'm doing anything, I shouldn't be, but it's just, I'm private. I don't want everybody knowing all my business. So anyway, so I'm on Facebook the other day, and this nail tech started doing a Facebook Live. So I was like, oh, let me see what's happening. I was like, oh my God. She was like in her negligee, cleavage hanging, and I'm like, bed behind her, headboard, covers rumpled up. And I was like, what are we about to watch? Is this like, those sites where you pay by the minute for people to do things, And she was off the chain. Hey, Nancy, how you doing? She was off the chain. She was so mad. She was like cussing and saying, look, you can see I'm in bed. You can see I am in my pajamas. Somebody had just turned her into the police. I guess the police just left her front door, came knocking early in the morning, woke her up. It was, to me, so disturbing, so viscerally disturbing to me. It scared me. And I'm like, I just had to get off. I don't know how it turned out. I don't know what happened, but she was so upset. And it struck me as, I don't want to say this is the same as the Nazis hunting down Jewish people, gypsies, political dissidents, mentally handicapped people, I'm not saying they're going to come to our doors and they're going to annihilate us and there's going to be, trains taking our and we're going to be killed. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying, to me, it struck me hard as the people in Germany, they meant well. Hey, Rebecca, because their government talked to them and told them and propagated that it was their civic duty to turn other citizens in, people they suspected of being a Jew, people they suspected of being a political dissident. And the citizens believed it. And now they were turning in people right and left. And hey, Rebecca, what I'm saying is, to me, I've seen like our governor has encouraged our neighbors, everybody in Kentucky, to turn everybody else in. There's actually a hotline, you call when you see something going on with 10 or more people. If you've got, like somebody could turn me in just going, yeah, I saw her going into her salon. Well, frick, yeah, I got plants. I don't want to die. I go down there every week and I turn, I water, I turn the lights on, I clean up a little bit. I get boxes coming in for the nail tech event in the Smokies. I got shipments. I have to unpack them. I've got mail, I've got friends that will come over and that, one at a time, and they'll help me undo the boxes and catalog and take photos and whatnot. Somebody seeing that from afar, not minding their own business, could be like, oh, she's doing nails, I got a restaurant next to me. I've seen people coming in and out. Have I been like, oh, let me mind their business? No, I have not, because I got my own life to live. And that's what it struck me as. It is frightening, Renee. It is very frightening to think where this could lead, because I was reading an article about California is also encouraging citizens to report other citizens. Hey, April, how you doing up north? Hope you're staying warm, or maybe it is warm. I don't know. Could be snowing in your area. But I was just so struck by the similarity of our government encouraging citizens to turn other people in, and how it was their civic duty with what had started way back in Nazi Germany. And people, back then, the German citizens, their defense, they said, we didn't know. We didn't know what was happening. But they were complicit. Those who turned other people in, they were complicit in doing those sorts of things. So it's your business. If you want to rat somebody off, rat them off, make you feel better. But you don't know whose life you're ruining. And honest to Pete, with 97% survival rate for this virus, go Google it, look it up. I was studying it, If you Google, what is the survival rate of the COVID virus? The articles I've dug deep for, and I've had to dig real deep, and they weren't titled what percent survived. It said 97% survive. Hey, Lisa, how you doing? If you just Google what percentage of people survive the COVID virus, you're not going to see the answer to what you're looking for. What you're going to see, because what I saw was article after article after article on the deaths, the sickness, the illness, the this, the that. I was like, what the hell? I didn't ask for all that. I know people are dying, but it is, hey, Pamela, it is truly a very small percentage with underlying medical problems. Some healthy people like me, whatever reasons, could get it and die. Some younger people that are healthy could get it and die. But it is the minuscule minority of people that this happens to. And so we have to start digging and not reading just the headlines, because the headlines spin it the way they want to spin it. fear is a great motivator for keeping people quiet and keeping people watching the news. And you're scared to death. You're watching the news hour after hour, day after day. You know, you get paralyzed. You really do. You get paralyzed to do anything. And that fear is a controller of people. And that is also another way Nazi Germany was able to start taking over the world back in, the day. So we have to always be mindful of that. Don't just read the headlines. Dig deep. A lot of times the nitty-gritty of the article is buried way down at the very bottom, like the last 2 sentences. Most people, hey Nancy, how you doing? Most people, they're just like busy or bored and whatever, and they don't want to read, and they ain't got time. And if the article's really long, screw it, they're not going to read it either. But there it is, in a nutshell. It's, like I said, countries are reopening. You can go on YouTube, you can see videos of people. There's all kinds of people in all different countries, doctors treating people, like holistic medicine. People poo-poo holistic medicine. Guess what? That's what the Native American Indians lived on. Suited them just fine for thousands and thousands of years. The native tribal people lived. What did they do before modern medicine came along? Not everybody got sick and died. They had different plants and herbs to, mix together and cure things. So I'm just saying, I keep an open mind about everything. I don't prejudge or presume. The only things I have seen, though, literally is the political slant of ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox News. It doesn't matter, Democrat, Republican, it's all political slanted. Hey, Jenny. And we're just not going to get the truth about what's going on. We need to dig down into the science of it all. And you know what? Oh, you guys probably have seen that article about those cooling trucks, the big semis, that they were just packed with bodies. And they were taken to this island where, like, they dug these deep, you saw like an aerial view of the trenches and all these bodies just like put in it. Well, I dug deep into that, and guess what? That's been going on for years. And you could Google it, and you could look it up, and you could see the freezers transport the bodies. You can't just put them in the back of a pickup truck and try to head out of Manhattan. These freezer trucks store bodies. And yes, New York is getting more than their share of dead right now. But that has been going on. The trucks have been in use for years. So they actually, hey Tracy, how you doing? They take these dead bodies. I can't remember the name of the island, but it's a pauper's island. It's where paupers, people, unclaimed dead, homeless, people who can't afford a funeral, can't afford a cremation. That's where bodies go, and they've been taking them for decades. And it's been like the same thing. They're tagged, they're photographed, tagged, medically recorded, everything. They're taken out there in these big cooler trucks. They're buried with a dignified manner, side by side. They're not just like thrown into a big pit. There's labels where they're buried. So if a body, somebody comes forward in the future and like they claim this dead person, hey Andrea, how you doing? Yes, like Potter's Field, and exactly. That's where paupers go. And so anyway, they've been doing this, but the article and the photo was so visceral. It scared people. It scared people so bad that they just thought New York was totally overrun with dead people and this was coming to their town. And it's not. It didn't. And by digging deeper, like I said, I discovered that this has been going on for decades, and it will continue to go on for decades because the island is big, it's remote, it's off the coast of New York, and that's where they transport unclaimed bodies. So anyway, that's it in a whole big fat nutshell. Just what I'm saying, just dig deep, people. And do y'all have any questions or anything? Oh, somebody was saying up here, let me look. My tiny town has over 50 confirmed positives, many more untested that are sick. 9 have died. That's a good point. Everybody's town's different. One thing, and you could prove me wrong or right, but I have Googled it. I have searched. I've dug deep. If you watch the press releases by the president, what is that female, the doctor's name that's on there speaking all the time. You can see I'm not politically like inclined one way or another. I don't know who the hell these people are. I just know we got Trump for president. So there you go. So anyway, the female doctor that gets up there and speaks all the time. I saw a video. I saw it in print. It came out of her mouth. You can look it up too. The United States is categorizing deaths differently than other countries. What they said was, you know how a lot of people die that have underlying ailments. It could be cancer. It could be diabetes, heart disease, what have you. When they die, they test them. Like these people, like I'm assuming, are in the hospital. They test them for everything. They're testing them for COVID. It's on their record. If they die, it is listed as a COVID death, even though it was not the COVID virus that killed them. Like my mom was in a nursing home for months with brain cancer, and she was dying. And the doctor, you know, I mean, I knew the writing was on the wall the minute I talked to the doctor. But if she would have died now, and they tested her and she had the COVID virus when she died of brain cancer, they would have categorized her death as COVID death, which then skews the actual number of deaths. You see what I'm saying? It skews it. So not everybody that has been cataloged as a COVID death. Yeah, it's Birx, Dr. Birx, I can't see. My eyes are going bad. I'm old. But anyway, so you see what I'm saying? Not everybody that dies is COVID. They might have had the virus. They could have recovered from the virus. They just had an underlying cancer, medical condition, like I said, heart attack. People go in with strokes. They linger for a few days. They get tested. They could have COVID. People die. So anyway, I don't know why Leela all of a sudden can't hear, but hey, Meta, she's watching. She's waving. Hey, I'm waving back. So anyway, dig deep. Don't just take my word for it. I am telling you the truth. I saw it. And you can go see it too. These words came out of her mouth. You can see it in print. That is how the United States categorizes the deaths, which then that also tells you a lot of the hospitals are getting shut down. Their COVID wards are not filling up the way they thought it was going to fill up. Why is that? We've been led to believe that we're all going to die and this is a horrible thing and the world's coming to an end. You look around, go dig. How many hospitals are closing for the COVID virus, lack of COVID virus, whatever. I get a storm here, it's coming up. I'll be getting off soon. But you can see the staff's being laid off. There's not a big need because they anticipated a wider death toll. And once they started really seeing what was happening, they're finding it's not killing as many people, and the death toll is being skewed by the way they're categorizing these deaths. Go Google it. So anyway, I hope I've given you some more hope. If anybody has been worried, scared to death, I hope I've been of some help today. And so like I said, just everybody contact your governor. If you want to stay on lockdown, contact. If you don't want to stay on lockdown, contact. They need to hear, call, email, contact the president. Now is the time. We can't just sit back and wait for other people to do it. We need to step up and do it. And I have already done all of that. So I am with you, Renee. You go, girl. I refuse to live in fear. You know, this lockdown for the last month, this has been really hard. And I can only imagine somebody who is in an already emotional state of despair over whatever was happening in their personal life. They could actually take their own life. And guess what? If they had the COVID virus when they took their life, they'll be counted as a COVID death. Google it. Don't take my word. Just look it up. So anyway, Medical says has screens on pre-order. They are really wide and easy to assemble. What kind of screens are we talking here? And that's Leela. I'm trying to read the rest of this. It says see more and I can't get it to come up. Anyway, oh, wait a minute. Something about they're really wide and easy to assemble. I also think it's best that if we go back to work and that we take anything extra off of our workstations and walls. I haven't read about walls, but I have seen, people putting up screens. And if that makes you feel safer and better, go on, by all means. It's a free country. Hey, Vicky, how you doing? Yeah, I wish they'd let self-employed, it says, just wish Tennessee would let self-employed unemployment. I think, Vicki, I think you can file self-employed in Tennessee, but maybe their website has not been updated. A lot of states, their website's not updated yet. I'm hoping when it gets updated, everybody who's been, unemployed, not making any money, will get back pay, because it wasn't our idea to shut down. So she says, Renee says, can't in Wisconsin yet either. And that's really terrible. So your governor, you guys contact your governors. This is unacceptable. They made you shut down, You guys should be getting your unemployment just like everybody else. So anyway, I'm losing my voice and a storm's coming and it's getting chillier. Look at it, it's getting darker. Oh my gosh. Yes, this is my porch life. Hey, maybe I ought to do a show called Porch Life, and we could just all sit out here chilling once a month and talk about whatever nails stuff we could talk about on the porch. So I appreciate y'all listening, and spread the news to people. I appreciate it. And fingers crossed. Oh, pray. Smokey Show is still on for July. Hoping Gatlinburg and everything will be open back up. I need y'all's support. Spread the word about Nail Tech Event of the Smokies. As of now, everything's still on. It's July 10th, 11th, 12th that weekend. And 13th is Monday. So yes, please start sharing, because we're just, I started this as a little networking event and grew it with y'all's help. And if we've ever needed the help to keep our little Smoky Show going, it is now. The nail companies are suffering and the nail techs are suffering. We all need to come together in July for nail camaraderie. And so anyway, I appreciate you all. Peace out, and we will talk again sometime.